But all the way from Manchester, New Hampshire today, we have Dean Kingdon.
So, I know you got to get going, but I have a couple of things that I got to do before you get started. As you all know, unless you're a rookie, as you should know, I'm always here giving out homework. And almost all the homework that we give to everybody, the kids, and then it's always to help grow first. Sort of from the top down. But this year I have, I think, the most fun, best homework we've ever had to offer. And oh, by the way, it's a way, specifically it's a way to make sure that all the teams find it easier to raise their own funds to participate. It's also a way to help us get the message out about what FIRST is. And I will take full responsibility that I personally screwed this one up. Because I always end up with my great ideas for homework a little late. And I never get them fully baked before the season starts. And this year was a good example of that. So I realize I'm responsible for what I'm about to demonstrate to you. So I'm here to help fix it. So first, the demonstration. I'm going to ask the same question. Who does and who doesn't know? So the first question, how many of the teams know about our fundraising program that we started this year and are using it? How many actually know about it? Now here's the problem. How many of you don't know what I'm talking about? Okay. So, here's the facts. Sort of late last year, I was whining and complaining to some of our directors, and I'm a very good whiner and complainer. You know why? FIRST is such a great program, and we've now had it almost 20 years. Why are we the best kept secret in the world? And even in places where we started with one team in the city, and then two, then three, and after 10 or 12 years, we might be in 10 to 12 schools in a pretty good sized city, but there's another 10 to 12 or 20 schools in that same city, 3 miles away. Nobody's ever heard of us. And somebody said, well, I mean, that's because you go to companies, they adopt a school near them, they get involved, they see it works, the school adopts it, it gets bigger and bigger, but if it wasn't somebody from the top down to be found, or that got connected by somebody that's already in the community, how else are people going to know about it? It's the kids. You have way more of them than you have corporations. The kids need a way, A, to get the message out, and B, to raise money. Okay. How are we going to do that? So, we'll play one more word association game. It turns out, I don't have any daughters, but we can play this game. There's a lot of people in this room. But if I say the word Girl Scout, cookies! Cookies! Right? So I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's a giant organization over there, and they figured out how to do two important things for themselves. They figured out how to get their message out to the businesses in their community, parents, they have a reason to be out knocking on the doors of business. So cookies is a great promotional tool. It's also, I checked, the way they make most of their money at the local level to run their operation. So, I got this great idea, but you know, steal other people's ideas at first. We're innovators. Besides, Girl Scouts already locked up cookies. So I said, I don't know, we'll just go out, now kids will knock on doors. Hey, would you like to buy a robot? Well, that seemed like it would be pretty hard. Not everybody wants to buy a robot. They're hard to build in high quantity at low prices. And seriously, there are businesses out there, neighbors and other people that may or may not have a big, strong interest in robotics or even FIRST. But I'm thinking, what does everybody these days care about? Saving money, the environment, energy independence. Everybody cares about that stuff. So I said, what could be as common a need people would like to touch almost as quickly? Light bulbs. Every house has 61 light bulbs, right? So I said, well, we can't just go sell light bulbs. We can go buy light bulbs. We got to sell high tech. First is about high tech. First is about innovation. First is about proving that science and technology can solve the world's problems. Preventing violent accidents, finding people that are lost in a disaster, just cleaning up the environment. So we got to find a really efficient method. Well, they make these compact fluorescents. They're kind of wiping out incandescents anyway in some states because they just seem to be illegal. But let's not go with vacuum or fluorescents. They don't make a very good light. They flicker a little. They're delicate. They're glass. Compact fluorescents have mercury in them. And, everybody thought that was going to be a great solution. And they are more efficient, but only about twice as efficient as incandescents. And those will curl. People don't like them. No, I got a great idea. Let's go straight to LEDs. LEDs, they'll be 10 times as efficient as an incandescent. And they last 10,000 hours. And they have no filament to break. And there's no glass, and there's no mercury. That'll be great. So I went to see some guys that happen to be FIRST supporters that have the most advanced LED dye wafer-making equipment in the world. And said, let's make some bulbs that are better than any LEDs. And let's mix enough of the colors so that the eye sees them as a nice, warm, white bulb. And let's let the kids sell them. That's this great new high-tech solution you can't get anywhere else. So they said, great, Dean, we'll do that. But you need to know, the price will come down eventually like it does on everything else. But for the next couple of years, just the dyes to make LEDs bright enough, not to be a little flashlight, but to make LED bright enough to be a 60-watt bulb, the dyes are going to cost $20 each. Not each dye, but not the bulb. So that's a problem. Because I think if they save you $20 worth of electricity per year, the kids ought to be able to get $20, especially if they last 10 years. There's lots of good reasons, but if the kids can't get them for a substantially lower price than that, I don't think you ought to ask kids to have them get more than $20 for a bulb. Well, we can't help it. Come back to us in a couple of years. Yeah, but if I come back to you in a couple of years, once the price is down, people will be able to buy them for $20 at Walmart. I want them now. And I also don't want to wait a couple of years to start a program to give kids away to promote FIRST. So what do? Do what I always do. I get who are the great believers in FIRST that can help us out. Well, I know one big company that's really big on technology. And I know they really care about the environment, and they care about energy, and they care about FIRST. They support an entire region for us in half the years. So it's this neat little company, some of you probably have heard of them, started by two really cool guys. The company is called Google. So I went to Google. And I did a thorough job of keeping this thing a secret. Just a few minutes ago, I was up, and I was handed a card by one of your big supporters here, one of your judges, and he says, "Hi, Andy, I'm from the local Google office." And I said to him, "You know what I'm program?" And he gave me the same blank stare as everybody else. So, anyway, I went to Google last year. Unfortunately, I had this great idea a little late. And I said, if you guys at Google, I think we can make maybe 100,000 bulbs the first year, let the kids sell them. Why don't you just send us $2 million, and we'll use that to buy down the manufacturing cost of the bulb so the kids can get them for about $10, sell them for 20, and then it'll be self-sustaining over the years because we'll come down that cost curve. But our kids will start a tradition this year. You say Girl Scout, you think cookies, First Light, you'll think the kids are back again this year with whatever is the greatest new technology, my business, my home, everybody's going to want these things. And we'll have some way for all of you to go out, get awareness about FIRST, because right on the boxes we'll tell the story of FIRST, and that all this money is going to this great not-for-profit organization. And I pointed out to them that it'll even get more kids involved, not just the robot kids, but now you can have a marketing group and a business group inside your school, and this will be a great program. So they said they'd think about it. And time was running out. We were getting close to kickoff. And we didn't have any commitments. And I figured, boy, this is going to have to wait, or maybe it won't get done at all. And then I get a call, and the Google guy said, well, we kind of like that idea, Dean, but we're not going to send you $2 million this year. We really like that idea, so we'll send you $3 million, which we did. So, just so you don't think I'm making this up, here's our box. Is there a close-up we can get of this? And it's got FIRST on the cover, and it's got the story of FIRST on the side, and it tells you how cool the bulb is, and how much energy it saves, and we got them all made up. And I was going to make a really big deal about this at our kickoff. And then I get this call from where I am who says, hey, I'm coming to the kickoff and I want to do a big concert at the championship, and everything kind of got out of control. We didn't run kickoff for the season, but we never got to focus on volleyball. And so I was afraid that a lot of the students wouldn't know about it. Yes, it's up on the website, but we figured some of you were busy for the last few weeks. But it's no longer a long thing, and so as I've been going to each regional, I've been now finally properly introducing this. So it turns out they sure look like real light bulbs. 60 watt, they don't have a little curlicue. Looks like any little bulb. Plug it in, and that's one way. And you really it looks like a 60 watt bulb, but 60 watts, as you all know, a watt is a joule per second. That's a lot of power. This thing would get pretty hot, except it's ice cold because it's LEDs and it's only 6 or 7 watts. So by the way, it looks like a nice glass, and you can put it into shades and fixtures, but it's plastic. And if you put this bubble into a fixture somewhere maybe that's hard to get to, it'll probably be the last time you have to go to that fixture because it'll last at least 10,000 hours. Anyway, one of our teams in Northern California saw it, and some of the ambitious kids went to a local little hotel out there. And they were talking to the manager, and they demonstrated the bowl. And the kids pointed out that at the California electric rates, if he leaves them on for, half the time during the day, he saves $20 in a year in his electricity. These things will run a lot longer. And the manager said to them, well, wait a minute. If they really last as long as you say, forget about the electrical savings. At my little hotel here, I have 2 full-time people that I pay just to change light bulbs that are burned out. So we asked them how many cases, and there's 30 in a case they had, and he brought everything they had, which funded their trip to the championship. So this ought to be a really good plan, and you guys ought to get out in the community and figure out how to use these things to A, tell the story of FIRST, like the Girl Scouts do, and B, you ought to make some money. I'm about to show you how easy it is to sell one of these things. Some of you probably know, or certainly know by name, Francois Castain. So Francois is on the board of FIRST. He's sort of the reason that Michigan is such a powerhouse. Over the years, he was there in the early times when pretty much every team had to have a major company behind it. And since Michigan has so many giant, major companies, Michigan was always a powerhouse state for FIRST. Well, let's not kid ourselves now. This state of Michigan, you have over 170 FIRST Robotics teams. It's astounding. And part of the reason for that, as I said, is we started with some really great companies. But over the years, again, part of the tradition of the big automobile companies was public expectation is every year their products get better and more reliable and lower cost, and that's a pretty tough standard. But that discipline was brought to FIRST a few years ago when Francois said, you're never going to scale FIRST to where you can make it available to every kid everywhere unless we find better ways as we scale up to make it easier and more cost effective. We got to be able to run more events. Kids have to compete more than one time before the championship. We really need a new model, the district model. And it was primarily he at the board and he with Gail and other people here that said, we're going to prove to the rest of the board, to the rest of the FIRST community, by taking the state of Michigan, because we already had such great support there, great technology, and we're going to prove, by changing the model a little, we can have every bit of the quality, every bit of the excitement, in fact, and more participation, more opportunities to play for more kids in a way that is scalable. In a way that we can get to every kid in every school. And while Michigan isn't yet in every school, you're closer to it than any state in the country. And it's really because of Francois and Ann Arbor and a whole lot of people here. So thank you. I'm never satisfied. And if anybody still has any money left, I want it to go FIRST. So I happen to have my vault with me, but I'm about to sell it. And I figured, just so you guys will all get involved quickly between now and the championship, you can sell some of them. All summer you can work at this. You can go to JCPenney and they'll help us in their stores. But I'm about, I think, to find my first customer here. Mr. Castain, will you come out here? I'm getting a chance here and I'm a good salesman. But imagine this lady at the front door of Chrysler or Ford, GM, or some business, or his home. This Mr. Gustave for FIRST is a great program. And then you tell him all about FIRST and why it's important. And Mr. Gustave, if you try this ball, it'll last probably as long as you continue to live in your house. It'll save you $20, which is what the ball costs, every year in electricity. And it's environmentally friendly, and it's cool technology, and you can't buy a ball anywhere near as nice as this anywhere in the country, at least for the next few years, because we got a little help from our friends at Google to make these available. They're $20, but you buy one. I think I buy two. I have one $40. You love them? I only have one left, but I'll bet some of the teams around here will be able to find you and sell you another one. Here's my goal. Plan to put it out. We now have, thanks to Google, we now have back at the ranch in New Hampshire, 50,000 of these balls. Some of the teams have sold a pretty good percentage of those, but we have another group coming in, another batch coming in very quickly. So seriously, I want to thank, even though you didn't know about it, Google, for your fantastic support to launch this program, and I think it would be an annual program to get our message out. I want to thank all the people, particularly in Michigan this year, for being able to grow these district events and prove that we can have all the excitement and all the quality of FIRST in a way that is scalable. And I would like to really thank every one of the volunteers that makes this happen. And for all the rookies among you, there's one last thing, and I'll let you get on to playing. There's one last part of the tradition of FIRST that I think is incredibly important. Even in the first year when we did this, I walked out the first time and I didn't know what to say to the judges, to the referees, to all the scientists and engineers, to the teachers, everybody that was doing this with their own time. I figured, why would I thank them? They're not doing it for me. And besides, one guy thanking people that don't even know it. So I walked out and I said, you know, I think the students are typically underestimated in this country. Young people are incredibly perceptive. They get it. And I was pretty sure that if I said to all our students, you know, you're getting to do something remarkable that could change your life. And if you look around you, you're going to see the same group of teachers, parents, mentors, sponsors, judges, refs that I see. And maybe, as I do, you'll recognize they're all doing this as volunteers. So I asked all the students to stand up and look around and thank everybody that's making this extraordinary event possible for them. And they did. And that's what we will do right now. And then I turned to all the volunteers and judges and said, you see, they really get it. They really appreciate it. They really need you. So this is where you are all going to say, yeah, and I'll be back next year, and I'm going to bring my friends, and we're going to grow FIRST and keep growing it until it's available to every kid. They all deserve this opportunity. You are making that commitment, right? Judges, right? Yes. Yes. So no matter how bad the news looks, no matter how crummy people will tell you the world is, just think about this. Incredibly passionate people devoting all this time to incredibly enthusiastic kids. This is extraordinary, and I think when all the dust settles, this is the kind of thing that really gives me hope that America is still in place. Because this is the only place in the world that this kind of stuff happens. So, have a great event, and remember, as the competition gets tougher, only 3 of these robots are going to win today. The goal is that every student wins. And gracious professionalism and cooperation and working hard but supporting each other, cooperating while you compete, is what FIRST is so good at fostering. And by the end of the day, I will probably be off to another regional, but by the end of the day, I congratulate the 3 robots that did better than the other 37, but I congratulate every student that's participated in this. Have a great event.
If you're going to do door-to-door sales, I know you want your traditional den and booth look, but that's really not gonna cut it. If you're going to go door-to-door sales, you gotta have a FIRST Robotics look. We call this the logo motion look. So Danny's got a special present for you. This is a T-shirt signed by personalized just for you to help you with your sales. Boy, that'll sell some light bulbs, huh? Yeah! All right.